In fact, listen to Gruesome say one of the dumbest things, and he's had a lot of dumb things he said.
It's escalated now since the beginning of this incident.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Brylan. Trump vows to liberate Los Angeles, shut down migrant riots, and insurrectionist mobs. Here we go again. The left using the same old playbook they used in 2020. They can't win with words or ideas or policy or truth, so they just burn everything to the ground. We've seen it all before. This is what the left does. They destroy everything around them and then blame it on everybody else. In this video, I'm going to show you what's actually going on with these riots. What they don't want you to know about the riots, what they don't want you to see about the riots, and how this is all one huge lie that the mainstream media is trying to get you to fall for again. And I'm going to show you several videos of the riots that will utterly blow you away. You're going to see what the left is saying is happening and what's actually happening. Hey, would you consider hitting that thumbs up button? You know, when you like this video, it'll get pushed out to more people to help spread the truth. Look at this. Trump said on Truth, a once great American city, Los Angeles, has been invaded and occupied by illegals and criminals. Same thing. Now violent insurrectionist mobs are swarming and attacking our federal agents to try and stop our deportation operations. Now the left is saying that Trump posting something like this is just stoking the flames, while they're sitting around going, hey, everything is totally fine. It's like they don't want you to see the truth, but they have to acknowledge it. Here's some tamer footage of what's going on with these riots. Look at this. Elizabeth Warren says peaceful protests. Kamala Harris said these are overwhelmingly peaceful protests. Cory Booker calls them peaceful protests. Gavin Gruesome says it's all under control. That's when you know that you should run for the hills. Look at this. They're calling this peaceful protesting. They're just peacefully out here trying to light their wacky tobacco, that's all. In fact, setting cars ablaze is just fun. At least that's what ABC wants you to think. Listen to this.
It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation and altercation between officers and demonstrators.
People are just having fun watching cars burn. What's the big deal? How many more times? How many more times do you have to see that they are the enemy of the people? All the typical loonies are opening their faces again with, well, the same old song and dance. Donald Trump's deployment of the military in Los Angeles over the objection of California leaders is an abuse of power and a dangerous escalation. Now I'm going to show you, again, more footage, much more footage of what's actually going on with these riots. But keep in mind what the left is telling you about what is happening in the riots. You know, this is why I use Ground News, because they show you how the left and the right are spinning the news. Look at this. Mainstream media on the left wants you to think that Trump is continuing to inflame the LA protests by bringing law and order and stopping the destruction. Makes total sense, right? And the right is telling you something a lot of people don't know about these riots, that millions have been ordered to stay home because of just how bad it really is. Ground News will also tell you what media outlets have the most bias. Their blind spot feature shows you when the left or the right isn't covering the news that you should know about. You can also see who owns each news outlet. If you go to ground.news/Brylan or scan the QR code on the screen, you can get 40% off the same Vantage plan that I personally use. Thank you for supporting the sponsor of this video, Ground News. It helps me to continue to bring you daily news videos that you can trust. Here's Booker being Booker. Who else doesn't even have to hear him talk? Just looking at his face is enough.
The reality is we see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles. And again, any violence against police officers should not be accepted. Local authorities can handle that. But remember, a lot of these peaceful protests are being generated because the President of the United States is sowing chaos and confusion by arresting people who are showing up for their immigration hearings.
They still haven't caught up and figured out that there's actual video that shows truth and then what they say, and they're on complete different sides. Like, one is the truth, objectively, what you can see with your own eyes, and then what the left says is going on. I know, she's back. Hold on, no, stop. I know, it's annoying. She's done and gone, but this is a woman, remember, that is going to run and is preparing and is actually actively, essentially running to be governor of California. Losing the presidency wasn't enough. She backs the LA protests after rioters attacked federal officers. Deploying the National Guard is a dangerous escalation meant to provoke chaos. Oh, there it is. Yep. She even goes on a little later. This administration's actions are not about public safety. Yeah, because the left just cares about your safety. They literally don't get it, that this is exactly what lost them the election. Here's some footage they don't want you to see from the riots. Look at this overpass filled with people flying their flags of their countries. Here they have a bunch of police officers trapped under an overpass, destroying their cars, but they're peacefully destroying things. Wow. Keep in mind that I'm showing you tamer footage. I literally cannot show you some of the more explicit footage out there. YouTube won't allow it. Here's another angle of those police officers trapped under the overpass as they run out. Look, he gets, wow, right in the face with a big old boulder. Here are some cars peacefully burning in the streets. Yeah, and then just a campfire. And then here's some footage where they're burning an American flag while holding the flag of their countries. It's escalating. It's getting worse. Again, what I showed you was some of the tamer stuff, but even the police chief, LAPD, came out and said, well, what's going on can actually take your life. LA police attacked with fireworks, rocks, Molotov cocktails. Peacefully, though, don't forget. He actually had this to say. Listen.
As far as people are worried about the violence that we're seeing, this violence that I've seen is disgusting. It's escalated now since the beginning of this incident. What we saw the first night was bad. What we've seen subsequent to that is getting increasingly worse and more violent. Tonight we had individuals out there shooting commercial-grade fireworks at our officers. That can kill you. We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing. They'll take backpacks, and the backpack will have a cinder block in it. They have a hammer, and they'll break up the cinder block and use that, pass it around to throw at officers.
This is the LAPD chief saying that on the very first night of these protests, riots, violent riots, that it was bad. So ever since the beginning, it was bad. It was not good. It was not peaceful. It was very bad. Yet he's saying that it's getting even worse each and every night this riot goes on. In fact, listen to Gruesome say one of the dumbest things, and he's had a lot of dumb things he said constantly, everything that comes out of his mouth. I'm so glad I'm out of this state, California. Man, I'm so glad I'm out of there.
Causing mischief and mayhem. What's your message to those people who are out there tonight? Not the peaceful protesters that are out there protesting for the rights of immigrants, but for the people that are doing damage to buildings, to law enforcement.
Well, they're doing more than damage to buildings and to property. They're potentially damaging the very foundation of our republic. The democracy.
Oh my God.
Is in the balance. I mean, you're seeing these authoritarian tendencies now are being acted out by this administration.
Look how he's asked a question about how these rioters are getting more violent, and he twists it. Gruesome turns it around to say that no, the real threat is the fact that Trump is trying to bring law and order to the state that Gruesome is running, that has lost all control, that has become one of the worst places to be. I spent my whole life there, grew up there until just a couple of years ago. Don't forget, though, this is a great point. May 1st, 2020, peaceful, nonviolent protests at the California Capitol against unconstitutional lockdowns. We all remember those. Newsom has no problem calling in over 300 troopers from around California to move in on mothers sitting on the Capitol lawn feeding their babies. He can't rewrite history. And some pictures of these protesters that Gavin Newsom called in, literally over 300 troopers to come. What he was doing was trying to intimidate them. This is what the left would call violent protests that need authorities to come in and quash them, because what they were protesting was actually legitimate. The fact that our government was way overreaching and trying to literally shut your life down, destroy your life. And a lot of lives were destroyed because of those unconstitutional lockdowns. And it did way more damage than there was no good. I mean, really.
We have immigration laws that govern the entire land, and California is willfully ignoring them. California's left-wing politicians set this up. If California had long been cooperating and helping enforce immigration laws all along the way, this would not be.
It's not the whole state. You do know that some of this is jurisdictions. There are certain towns that do. Yeah, but there are certain. But there are certain towns that absolutely have cooperated with federal authorities.
Shouldn't they all?
You know, this is part of the issue.
This leftist woman over here can't actually answer with anything substantial.
This is new video showing restaurant workers helping sheriff's deputies in Compton. You can see some of the deputies sitting in the booths as workers help to flush their eyes, likely after getting hit with tear gas.
Wood says, seriously, if you're so proud of your country that you're willing to commit felonies celebrating it, why not return there voluntarily and happily? Gee. I wonder why. The biggest goof in mainstream media, listen to Smelter.
On one level, protests are always about images, about spectacle. You might even say it's about theater. And we are seeing that play out in LA. And I think it's valuable to have that perspective as we see some of these pictures, especially as we zoom out and we recognize that the unrest is isolated, is not overtaking the entire city of LA. LA is home to millions of people.
Okay, so 100% of the city isn't burning down. So what's the big deal? Proverbs 29 says it perfectly, actually. Look at this. Verse 8, scoffers set a city aflame, but the wise turn away wrath. If a wise man has an argument with a fool, the fool only rages and laughs, and there is no quiet. Bloodthirsty men hate one who is blameless and seek the life of the upright. And then in verse 16, when the wicked increase, transgressions increase, but the righteous will look upon their downfall. Well, hey, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, join this community. I would love to hear from you on a regular basis. And please hit that thumbs up button. You know, when you like this video, it'll get pushed out to more people and it would really help spread the truth. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.